Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Squared Circle Jerk podcast. I am your president, Abraham Drinkin, and with me, as always, is the secretary of your interior.
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good
My
one.
insane cat in the background.
We're talking about NXT and Lucha Underground today. As we finished watching that. I did not watch the whole thing of Lucha Underground, or of NXT, not Lucha. It's all
based
Lucha.
on certain recommendations.
But yeah, I did not watch all of NXT based on certain recommendations. So Byron, you're gonna have to walk us through that for the most part. And I was watching the main event. So dive in. Take us through the world that is NXT.
Well, let's go all the way back. So I went on vacation the last week of August, and I didn't watch. I really haven't watched any NXT since then, or 205 Live, which is my next project to catch up on. Sort of. So if we wanted to clock back all the way to the 29th of August, which was before we totally did a takeover recap after that, yeah?
We did. That was our last real touching on NXT.
So I didn't watch the episode afterwards because why the fuck bother? It's all recaps and highlight packages from TakeOver. And then they'll throw in like 1 weak ass match and a promo off or something like that. So 29th was the week after TakeOver. And we open up with, I've just got basic little cliff notes, one per thing.
Yeah, I think that's all we need.
So Johnny Gargano comes out. He does a very, very good emotional distress promo. Dream comes out and he is a jackass and he gonna get got. Alicia, or my notes here says Alicia or whatever, is marginally improved. And then there's a... I should have started it here. I have a motif going that should have started in the first week. Dream gets called into the office to explain things to William Regal about your boy Aleister Black getting groin shotted to death. Did we touch on the groin shots?
Yes, we did.
All right, so your boy Aleister Black had to have groin surgery. So that's a thing. And then he tells Dream to get the F out my office. But for the rest of the time, I will just briefly recap that by saying whatever is innocent of this crime.
That's fine.
So Dream is innocent of this crime. And then Gunner shows up. And then EC3 gets Pearl Harbored by Lars Sullivan. And then Nikki being hilarious in the office with William Regal. And Clunky Blunky Blurble. I don't know. Fake hair Orama. Fake hair chick shows up. She still sucks. Still doesn't do good promos. Tells Nikki not to touch her hair, which it isn't. Spoiler alert. It's not her hair. Some Mexican jobber shows up, and large Suleiman plants him into the ground. Tomato Chompers does a promo, and Kifari does a thing that's pretty cool, and we are told that Britt and Bruisers will be here in 2 weeks. So hype, motherfucking hype.
Gotta love me some Oni Lorcan and some Danny Burch.
Moving on to September the 5th, then stop me whenever you want to interject some shit.
Of course.
September the 5th, which is the next week, Mr. Oh no, comes down. And he is met by the finest opponent he could possibly have.
I thought you would enjoy this particular one.
It was great. He's not only is he doing great heel stuff and being an energetic heel. He's like Rick Martel. He's almost a Rick Martel, kind of more energetic than your traditional mopey dumbass heel. Kind of thing, and he's getting in people's faces, he's nattering at the crowd, he's telling him, not just telling, shut up, you shut up, I'm a bad guy, you shut up, but he's getting people's faces, he's getting in his opponent's face, his body's coming together, like, if you rewind, man, I don't remember when his debut was, but it must have been some back in June?
It was a fair way back, I think actually like May.
Could be May. But I mean, you rewind some months back, and his body now looks way better than it did then.
Are you suggesting there might be some supplementation going on?
I'm suggesting perhaps there may be some Texican supplements. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna. He's just genetically gifted. Although it's been months, and to be fair, the stuff that we saw maybe back in May was recorded in March. So I mean, if he's had 6 months or something like that to work out, shit could happen.
He might be just working out, and to quote Chris Bosch, he might be doing some sit-ups.
Yeah. So, but his body's coming together. His whole persona is on point. His little bitty character work and work within a match, work within the crowd, that's all coming together. I mean, he was in there with fucking Chris Hero, and I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, I was perfectly happy with this. I think his ring work still needs to go places before it's really there.
Yeah.
And my one kind of problem is just the timing thing. You've got EC3 and Dream doing really similar gimmicks to this. Mm-hmm. So
what if they form a faction?
That could be cool. But it does kind of lessen the impact of the gimmick when you have two people doing the gimmick right before you. So
yeah, I'm not opposed to that, but I like the fact that they're doing slightly different versions of the same thing. EC3 is the rich boy. Velveteen Dream thinks that he is a supermodel, and Kona Reeves is kind of the hip hop kind of like what's the term I'm looking for? There's a specific term that refers to somebody like this, and my brain's not coming up with it. But he's basically all mouth and no trousers. Only he's obviously got some trousers because he can do stuff in the ring. Mm-hmm. But he's not really a playboy. He's I don't know how to explain it really, but they're all doing slightly different versions of the same thing.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I'm just saying it's to a degree a tragedy that they've all debuted more or less in the same year or same 2-year period.
Yeah,
that kind of lessens everyone's gimmick a little bit.
Yeah, and I can dig on that, but I thought, and I continue to be on the bandwagon. Nothing's knocked me off the bandwagon yet. So the Forgotten Sons tag team made a debut, and the Streetwalkers managed to make this into the most generic thing ever. This was the worst debut that you suddenly realize somebody's got a broken nose at the end of the match. It's like, what? Okay, but nothing happened because the guys you were up against were just schlocky and hokey and.
Honestly, at this point, I'll take generic from them because what we had up until now, and I there are people who really, really like the Street Profits, and I would like to talk to them and figure out why. That's kind of my thing. Like,
see, I don't think that there are people.
What am I missing?
Listen, I don't think that there are people that like them.
And of course, someone will just say you don't like them because they're black.
Whatever.
Which someone did try to do to me. Fuck.
Fuck those people. I don't like them because they're fucking generic as shit, and there's
that's
no
kind of my
reason to
thing.
buy
Yeah, they're quite generic. Everything they're doing is largely been done
totally been done
a lot better. They're not fantastic in the ring. They're not annoyingly bad in the ring, but they're not fantastic.
They're Miz-esque in the ring. They go through the motions. There are supposed to be impacts. There are not any impacts.
Okay, if you're just talking about the softness, yes.
I
can see where you're going with that.
It's move time. It's just like
which I've kind of said is I still feel that's
actors,
I still feel like that's the WWE problem even in NXT. If you look at I keep saying this is people say NXT is a tremendous success, and I just don't agree because I keep thinking to myself, what homegrown stars have they really produced? Like, what is the success rate? And it's It's pretty bad because people
Roman Reigns ain't it.
People will bring up like your Seth Rollins. I'm like, number one, I'm not as high on Seth Rollins as everyone else, but number two, Seth Rollins is a fucking independent wrestler.
Yep.
Like, that's the problem. Like, you take away your Sami Zayn's, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, Nakamura, Hideo Itami, Finn Balor. These are all not homegrown talent.
There are very few. You can point to...
Your homegrown talent is basically... Enzo and Cass, and Enzo in the ring was a fucking disaster waiting to happen.
He was a great target.
A
he
couple of women. Charlotte Flair is probably their best success.
Yeah. The only male wrestlers I can really think of off the top of my head, and you can quibble with me about this if you want, is Undertaker and John Cena.
Oh no, I'm talking the FCW NXT.
No, I'm talking
program.
all time.
All time. Orton, Batista.
I'm Orton. Orton. But nobody gives a shit about Orton.
And there was a time when they did, and they got mileage out of him. And I would definitely say Batista.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't... Yeah, okay, fair enough, but you can't equate movie success with his success in the ring.
No, his success in the ring, though, like, the weird thing about Batista is when WWE has tried to push him, it's not worked. When they just let it happen organically, see when he first challenged Triple H for the belt, Circuit Evolution, the pop, oh god, so good.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you can count on less than one hand the successful internal stars.
It's not a great success rate, and
in a 40-year history. If you go back to 1970, how many in-house wrestlers had successful farm-grown...
Well, you can't really say 1970s because they weren't doing homegrown stuff until really the 90s. That was when they set up their... That was when Jim Cornette basically went to Vince McMahon and said, okay, I want to go run some promotions. We're going to basically be your developmental territory. Les Thatcher was involved in that, a couple other people. There were a number of them. And that kind of was the beginning of, like, proper homegrown era of WWE wrestling.
Cool. So instead of, like, 50 years, 30 years...
Yeah, we're talking close to 30 years, probably. Like, 25 years, probably.
And you can count on 3 fingers how many internal stars you've got.
Oh, even Undertaker's not an internal star. Because he was wrestling before. Like, the Undertaker character... is their creation, and they've created a number of very good characters, but in terms of, like, training wrestlers from scratch, pretty bad track record.
Yeah. And that got right off the rails. Where were we going? Oh, yeah, because we're talking about the Forgotten Son. So one of them, I don't remember who ended up with... I might be wrong about the broken nose part, but dude had definite bloody nose.
Mm-hmm. I believe it was broken, yes.
Fair enough. And then we had heavy machinery in the office, and they are innocent of this crime. But Otis may...
Otis is guilty of destroying the toilet.
I have here, machinery broke the turlet. There's a hype package for title versus title in 2 weeks. We get the North American and British title. And so we already know it's going to be a fuck finish. So that's a 2-week letdown.
Yeah, pretty much. It was really hard to see. It was really hard to see how you would not do that as a fuck finish, because you absolutely cannot take the title off of Pete Dunne before the UK show goes out, because you can't have the UK title being on an American when you launch the show like that.
And you can't take the title off Ricochet, because you need that to, as big a star as Ricochet is on the independents, the WWE audience are fucking retards, so you need to wave pieces of gold in front of them to make things special. So you can't take the gold off Ricochet just yet, especially because that title desperately needs to be advertised and defended desperately.
Yeah, now is not the time to have a double champion, just in general.
Yeah.
But you need both those titles freed up to be defended. Therefore, you need two different champions.
Exactly. After that, we have Kairi Sane sliding the D into her opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a promo from Tomato Chomper, and he mad.
Mad Chomper.
Then we have Lars Sullivan in the office, and Lars Sullivan is innocent of this crime. And then we have the Dream versus the Gargano, and my only note for this match is Johnny sure can quote the wrestling. And also
Johnny wrestling.
My final note for this particular episode is autistic guy in blue needs to chill.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Because autistic guy in blue, oh boy, are you not part of the show? Y'all needs to chill.
Continuing on,
we go to September the 12th, 2018, NXT episode number 5892. We have a vignette of the champion, Tommaso Ciampa, and my only note is, Tommy no speaky! Tommy drag belt! As he just blows past the interview people. We have a match of the Brit Am Bruisers, although they call them the Brit Am Brawlers in this one, versus Brazilian Top Team.
I'm fine with both names.
Yeah, either is fine. Versus Brazilian Top Team. And Cesar Bononi has a spectacular Playboy mustache and a real personality for a change.
It's amazing.
It's a night and day. Absolutely frightening. This was a good match. At one point, Antoine Joao... Oh, wait. It's Antoine Joao Jr. Misses his mark. And... Your boy Oni Lorcan was going to go for a European uppercut, and your boy, what's his real name actually? Like Anthony Joao or what the fuck?
Antoine Joao is his brother.
Yeah.
I will look it up. Continue.
Not Antoine Joao. Totally wasn't as far back as he should be towards the ropes, and your boy Oni Lorcan doesn't give a fuck. And slams the European uppercut into him. If you're not on your mark, that's not Mr. Oni Lorcan's business. That's up to your own personal lookout. Your own safety is your own business. His business is to get the shit underway and get going. So he slams the European uppercut into other Joao, and then does the same thing to Cesar Bononi, and they get the win, and it was good, and I enjoyed it.
Adrian is the name.
Adrian! We did it! We have a match! So Cesar Bononi's coming along a long way. I like the matchy outfits. Bonus points.
You got two Brazilians who don't speak terribly great English. You might as well put them together.
Yeah. Bonus points to anybody who can give me the source of the matchy outfits reference. So, I mean, it's the beginning of something, I think, cool for the Brazilian Top Team. And, yeah.
Yeah, I'm generally a fan of it. It's just, I just wish they would figure out what they're doing with the tag team division more... With more clarity.
Yeah, well, I mean, they keep having to bring these big-ass indie signing teams in and clear out the division just so that they can rebuild the division every 3 months.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. So every cycle of tapings, you have to rebuild the division. Fuck. We had Tommy the Chompers in the office, and he is innocent of this crime! And then we cut to a Heavy Machinery self-filmed promo outside. And your boy Otis Dozovich is calling Tomato the Champs! Tomato the Champers! And they get it, and then Tomato the Champers actually stumbles in from the shadows, and they have a face-to-face. And Otis is not intimidated.
Otis is not intimidated by anyone, nah, sir.
Ooh, Ducky, you fucking film it! And then Lord William Stephen Regal the 14th comes in and breaks it up. And I don't remember them saying there was going to be a match.
But we were confirmed on today's show that they are having a match next week. So
okay, I just must have missed that. So I'm fine with that. So,
I was fast forwarding through the show and saw that. How did you miss it?
Fuck, I skipped a couple of things. There was a couple of things I skipped. We'll get to that. And then Undisputed did their cool talkie box thing, which was hilarious. I enjoy them doing their talkie box commentary. Basically talking shit about everybody that has a title because they don't have all the titles yet. And their Large Suleiman, I don't have... Oh yeah, Large Suleiman was... he kind of came down the previous episode, I believe, or the one before that, and he crushed Raul Mendoza. And so they decided to make a match between the two of them? Question mark?
It's what Raul Mendoza is there for.
Correct. And so Raul comes down to the ring, and he kicks Large Suleiman a whole bunch. They're moving to the Middle East, so they have to have a Middle Eastern guy. So he's Large Suleiman now. So hey, let's get that Canadian kid, Tiger Ali Singh's kid, back. That'll go over great. Anyway, so eventually Large Suleiman just slams the shit out of him 17 ways from Sunday and then gets the win. Yay. We cut to a promo from Peter Dune, and he's grumpy as fuck.
It's always grumpy as fuck.
And then we cut to Ricochet, who has got, I have it in quotes, quote, got what it takes. Thumbs up, shiny tooth moment. Moving on. There's a hokey as fuck setup to a hokey as fuck women screaming at each other in a hotel lobby bullshit. I skipped it. Moving on. Jesus, that was bad. From front to back. Fire who's in charge of that. Eat shit. And
Fire who's been in charge of the women's division lately. Fuck.
Pretty much, yeah. Then we cut to Cassius Ono Hero in the office. Who is innocent of this crime?
Oh no, is innocent of the crime.
Innocent of this crime. But he is wearing a stylish Cesaro and Kid t-shirt, which I have marked down as, quote, wicked.
Just bring Claudio back to NXT. Fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I want fucking Chris Hero to move up and team up.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Don't care. I want it.
It's not happening.
I want it.
You're just deluding yourself.
I want this. Kings of Wrestling.
Kings of Wrestling.
Anyway.
But you couldn't even use the name because it's got wrestling in it.
I don't care. Yeah, Kings of Sports.
It's a dirty word. Dirty word. Kings of Sports Entertainment just doesn't have the same ring.
Kings of Sports Entertainment. Sorry, anyway. We cut to Nikki Cross and somebody else. Nikki, my first note is Nikki is pretty close to being a female Toriano.
Oh God!
It's
why do you put that name in? Why do you put that combo in my head?
Because it's true. My final note is Blair didn't even come close to making that a decent match. Double countout means we have to watch this as a feud. Fucking please no. Everything she does is at 1/4 speed and softer than pillow shit.
I didn't hate this match nearly as much as you did, but it's a feud I can fucking do without. That's for sure.
Blunky Blur is slow, soft, uninteresting, and she uses Rhino Liner as makeup. Just stop. She's obviously very strong. She's obviously in great shape. She is... I can see real talent there. I can see real potential there. But this is bad. And she needs a lot of coaching before she should have ever been on TV.
She's in the same boat as your Lacey Evanses and your Vanessa Bournes, although Vanessa Bourne I have no hope for at all.
None.
But they all were thrust into the spotlight while being exceedingly green. And
yeah, and I'm very much trying not to hold this against them.
I think Bianca Belair is the best of the bunch. But
from a physical standpoint, yeah, much. Probably. I mean, she can at least hit a fucking rhythm Whereas somebody that shall remain nameless, Vanessa Bourne.
Vanessa Bourne is the worst in every category.
Jesus, you're a
Vanessa Bourne is possibly the one I want to bone the most, but she's the one I want to see on TV the least.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's the lack of physical coordination. I don't know if the boning is going to be working.
Not the way I have in mind for.
I seriously, unless this is the new turn of Bianca Belair, which it's pronounced Belair, not Belair.
Looking on the bright side, perhaps working with Nikki Cross will teach her something.
I'm hoping.
It's just that I haven't... Again, going back with the whole NXT thing, is that we haven't necessarily... Like, okay, the good side is that Lacey Evans off her feud with Kairi Sane did get a lot better. She's still green, she's still subpar, but the improvement was obvious. You watch a Lacey Evans match, pre-Kairi Sane feud, and post-Kairi Sane feud, and it's a lot better. I mean, I'm talking about like a star and a quarter to maybe a star and 3/4, but that's still a half-star improvement.
Yeah.
So maybe we can get something similar out of this Belair Cross thing.
I don't think it's going to happen because they just don't work together.
Yeah,
it's not like the main roster where you're doing like 6 house shows for every televised match we see.
Well, and it's also, if I may be honest, this is why I wanted Nikki Cross to get called up to the main roster, because there are people you work with that I think you will learn from by osmosis. Johnny Gargano is a great example of this. I think if you worked a match with Johnny Gargano, you would improve a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think Nikki Cross, because her style is not that of a traditional wrestler. It's a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Style.
She can teach psychology.
Yeah, but I don't think she can teach you to be better in the ring.
I would...
Not to the same degree.
I would disagree based on the fact that she's obviously an excellent wrestler. So she can teach you, like, you go out and you have your match, and then she can critique your wrestling versus her crazy and go, okay, you need to do this, that, and the other. And then that would have made this one single match we had,
you can get
instead of being 1/2 of a star into, a 3-star match.
But you can get that from coaches. So I feel like her as an in-ring training partner...
Hold on, time out. We've established you can't get that from coaches in WWE.
You should be able to. I mean, allow me to put it this way. You should be able to get that.
But it ain't happening.
And it's weird because Sarah Del Rey is the female coach down there, and Sarah Del Rey is damn good.
Yes.
Damn good. Top 5. But, it's a little
Top
frustrating.
5 dead or alive.
It's a little frustrating. I don't know. I just don't think she's the best. I don't think she's the best in-ring partner to have. I think you could have someone else in kind of Nikki Cross spot, the veteran teaching the youngsters, and we could have Nikki Cross on the main roster with Sandy, which would make a lot more sense than the current breakup of Sandy.
That would be true if they had any veterans.
Yeah, I do. I am struggling to play. Well, Candice LeRae.
Great, but they don't put her on TV.
Yeah, but that would get her on TV more.
But they're not going to.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, like, that's, again, the problem with how things are being run down there right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that NXT is run 75% excellent and 25% what the absolute shit.
The problem is it's run excellent as a way to get indie talent to show off against indie talent. And a handful of guys that are not indie talent, but it's not doing what I think they want it to do, which is you're supposed to be developing the stars of the future. And, for example, Bobby Roode is not the star of the future because he's in his 40s.
Yeah. Which is why they've basically de-pushed him to whatever.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with like a Samoa Joe coming through or whatever. It's like these guys are really kind of too old and just being kind of wasted down here. So, like, can we figure out how to take, like, people in their early 20s, say, who have not been on the independents for, like, 10 years, and and turn them into like really solid wrestlers.
Nope.
That track record is still very bad.
I would say that their track record would be a whole lot better if Vince was dead.
Probably.
Just putting that out there. I don't want anybody to die, but I want wrestling to get better. So who do we have to sacrifice unto Sebek?
The only problem is, though, is from all indications, Vince is not really involved in any way in NXT. So,
but he's also not letting anybody have control.
Yeah.
It's in this passive aggressive bullshit. Like, I'm too busy to do anything, and I'm too old, and I don't have the energy or the brain power. And if reports are correct, he hasn't had the brain power in 10 years. Because there have been multiple reports from former writers that, like, we had to literally remind him what we did yesterday. Because he doesn't know, and he doesn't have a clue.
He has
any vision.
He has a very short attention span.
He's
never really had vision. His vision has been, I can bully people into doing what I want.
Yeah, I guess. Too bad you're fucking 75 and one dragon screw leg whip will tear your fucking hip out.
No, well, I meant more on a financial level.
Well, that's not happening either anymore.
Well, there's no one to bully, really. Well, there's no need. He's built the biggest sports entertainment empire in the world, and that was kind of our thing. I think we did it a couple episodes ago. Like, it's so weird that Vince McMahon, who has no actual interest in wrestling, has developed the largest sports entertainment industry or empire in the world. Like, this is truly perplexing to me.
Well, and it's getting to the point where he can't bully anybody anymore for any reason on any level because, we own MSG. Guess what? No. Lawyers? Okay, fuck off. Oh, we're going to buy you out. No, that's not happening. They had meetings. Apparently, they are begging Impact for something. They've had meetings. They begged Impact people to show up at their offices for something, but they're not releasing what it is. And Impact people are saying, well, it's not our library, and they're not buying us out. Other than that,
why would you buy Impact out?
So you could have a Samoa Joe's and AJ Styles fucking back catalog?
You just buy the library. And they don't care because, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles aren't big stars.
AJ Styles might be a bigger star.
And
Samoa Joe may or may not.
Hey, whoa. I'm talking about it from a WWE standpoint. Man, it's not Roman Reigns.
Not a big star. Put the title on him.
Not a big
star. They put the title that makes money on him.
Not a big star.
Yeah. So.
Not Roman Reigns. Not on Raw.
Yeah. You're not on Raw? You're not on Raw. You know Lethal. Anyway. No racist overtones at all.
None whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Continue on, sir.
I'm merely portraying a character, not denigrating any particular part of the human race for any reason.
Continue.
September 19th, which is like a couple days ago, we had a shit show of a match between Dakota Kai and Diana I'm going to get buried Perazzo, and Alicia something and Stacy somebody. I don't fucking know.
Aaliyah and Lacey.
Oh, yeah. The whole woman's right thing makes me want to cringe all the way into my fucking ribcage.
The only good thing about it is there's a pun there. That fits with stuff,
I enjoy the pun, and I liked the pun for 2 weeks.
But
that was 6 months ago.
As a finisher, sorry, I mean it worked for the Big Show, but you are in no way the Big Show.
Correct. I do also kind of enjoy the fact that it's a giant fuck you to feminazis, so that's cool. But it's not doing you any right during your women's revolution.
Yeah, well, the Women's Revolution will have Nikki Bella in the main event, probably. I mean, they are tone deaf as fuck.
Yeah, during this match, Aaliyah pulled some fucking dumb shit, bullshit. So the moves were bad and clunky. She, for zero reason, just started screaming at the top of her lungs And it was so awkward. Like, the whole crowd just kind of took a half step back and went, why though? It's, I don't know who's in charge of her, I don't know who her road agent is or what the fuck's going on there, but no. Just fucking no. Quit. Retire.
Well, we saw similar shit with Vanessa Bourne.
And look where she is now.
No, I don't know what they're trying to do with most of these green girls. And the veterans. I don't know what they're trying to do with the veterans either.
I don't. It doesn't make any sense. So my final thought on this match has nothing to do with this match, other than the fact that Deonna Purrazzo got buried again. So Deonna Purrazzo was supposed to be on the All In card, and depending on how things go forward in time and how we look backward at history, she could have given up a massive spot in the historical North American wrestling landscape to get buried shittily twice.
Pretty much. I mean, she did get to win one match in the Mae Young Classic, beating Priscilla Kelly, but yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Oh no, she won twice actually.
Oh, did she squash them both?
She actually lost to Io Shirai in the tournaments. Actually, to be clear, I've not watched the Mae Young Classic yet.
No,
I'm not going to because there's enough women in here that I'm very interested in. But go Nicole Matthews and Vanessa Craven. But I mean, she didn't get buried in the Mae Young Classic. She made it to the final 8 and lost to Io Shirai, which I don't think that there's a way for you to get buried losing to Io Shirai.
Like, I guess. I have zero... I'm never going to watch any tournament they ever hold until the winner of that tournament has an immediate payoff and giant ass push.
Oh, no, I can definitely get behind that. The first Mae Young Classic was very much effed up.
I mean, the one that lost got the title. And the one that won got buried for 8 months, 9 months, 10 months.
Not buried, but actually worse than buried. She got stuck in limbo.
She jobbed to Lacey Evans repeatedly.
I think it was just...
for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that is true.
You won the Mae Young Classic. Congratulations. We're holding you off TV for 6 months, and when you finally get to debut, we're going to crush you for 2 more months. And you get nothing out of it.
Yeah.
Yay! 205 Live. We're going to hold this awesome tournament. I've heard that the 205 Live tournament matches are fantastic.
Oh, it was so good.
I am never watching that shit. Never.
I don't recommend it because honestly, it shows what the show could have been.
It will only make me infuriated. You had, and then they've hot potatoed the fucking title since then, and they keep literally everybody on the 205 Live roster has held the title. I think.
Nah, not everybody, but it's
figuratively
not terribly far off.
So figuratively, everybody on the 205 Live roster is a former champion, and they tell you every single time. I swear to God, I can't count how many former champion versus former champion matches we've had, because they announce it every single time.
Yeah.
So hold all the tournaments you want. I don't fucking care. I'm not watching that bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. If you're just going to hold tournaments, fine. If you're going to try and tie them into your product, fuck, man, kill yourself. Just literally out back with a shotgun in the mouth. It's that bad. You might as well just kill yourself. You've done nothing good, and it's all for nothing. Throw your head against the wall. Okay, leave the shotgun at home. Just run, put your head down, and run as fast as you can into a brick wall, and get up and do it again and again and again until you're absolutely dead. Because that's what it's like when you're doing that's what it's like from a fan's perspective. There's 0 point in putting up with any of this nonsense. Which brings us to the Velveteen Dream. Because he did some super awkward hokey shit. kind of, it's standard. He talked about himself, and then somebody asked him about a matchup, and he's like, "You're not asking me questions about me? No. Snap, girlfriend," and then walked off.
It's kind of weird because at times this gimmick has been really well done. And at times it's been
one time.
More than once, but
1.5 times.
It's weird. At times it was good. And they knew what they were doing. And at times it's been really bad. And it's weird because I really like Patrick Clark. I actually really want him to succeed.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Street Awkwards.
No, I'm talking about the Dream.
The Velvety Dream. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's done promos that have been very good. He's done matches that were serviceable. And that's pretty much it.
He's done matches that are incredibly good, but they've all been with incredibly good wrestlers. And it's the thing is when you put him in there with someone lower, you really get a lower match quality. So it's kind of like, okay, Aleister Black versus him was fantastic. How much of that was Aleister Black?
I don't remember that match hardly at all. I remember that match being okay-ish.
It was. I really enjoyed that match, but
it was typical.
I'm coming further and further to the conclusion that I really love that match because of Aleister Black.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I remember him spin kicking Velveteen Dream in the face and saying, Velveteen Dream, and then just fucking smashing him. Great. That had nothing to do with Velveteen Dream.
It takes two. It still takes two to tango. Like we have seen in the past that some of the greatest workers have been unable to get great matches out of certain people, and they're like some of the worst workers on the planet, to be clear. But that does, it does take two to tango. There's something with the Dream.
Yeah, no,
I just need to come out consistently.
I'm not questioning that at all. But he's way too young, and he's way too. This is a guy this is his third year on the Indies, and he's got a solid persona, and he's getting his whole match repertoire together. And in 3 more years, he'll be ready for the big leagues. That's where he is in his career right now. He's a Silas Young, where he's got a great persona. He can put on matches, but the matches he has are very much dependent on his opponents.
Yeah, no, that's a fair circumference.
But would you sign Silas Young to the main roster right now in WWE?
I mean,
you would.
Considering some of the people that are there, yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Unfair comparison. But would you rely on Silas Young to have a co-main event match, which he is responsible for putting together?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. Would you... Yeah, I mean, you can go on and on and on. But Velveteen Dream... I mean, I hope they keep him in NXT for another 2 years.
Oh, hell yes. I think if he gets promoted now, it'll fucking ruin him.
Yeah, but I mean, if they keep him there for another couple of years, he will have developed into a solid quality guy that you can have on the roster and depend on him for anything. But at this point, he can't book his own match. He can't call a match. He'll definitely be able to keep up. Him versus Johnny Gargano was very good because of Johnny Gargano, not because of Velveteen Dream. So that's where he is right now. When he graduates to the point where he can be the guy who's having the good match, not the guy who's in the good match. That's where we can go forward from here. And in my opinion, again, I'm going to say it, his matches to this point have been serviceable. Whether the match itself was good, very good, okay, whatever, had nothing to do with him. He's the guy that's in the match, doing his best, and yeah, he can keep up with whatever Johnny Gargano says. whatever Tommy End says, whatever EC3 says, when that match was kind of boring, to be honest.
Yeah, the EC3 match was not particularly good. Also, I thought his Cassius Ohno match was also not particularly good.
No.
Which is a disappointment.
Yeah, I kind of like that one because I kind of see what they were going for. They were going for a boxing match-esque type feel.
I definitely get that, but to me that just seemed like a bad idea. That was something that Dream wasn't ready for.
Yeah, no, I can dig that, and I agree with you on that. But I can see what they were going for, whereas him versus EC3, I think was supposed to be a show-off match, and nobody showed off. It was just a big-ass move every 45 seconds.
I came out of that match thinking somewhat less of both guys, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I think somebody got in their ear and said, please do this and please do that. And they're like, all right, we'll try. So, yeah, I don't know. But that's kind of where the Dream is right now, in my opinion. And I think you're on board with that one.
Yeah, pretty damn close.
We move on to what I have only labeled as the Street Awkwards. Mm-hmm. And it was fucking, I don't know what the fuck. The Nazis Don't Kneel stole their chains, and just chains. Practice. We talk about practice? It was really fucking hokey and dumb. And what they tried to do was they tried to convey that they were from the streets. And y'all don't steal from me, bitch. And it came off as children that somebody took their gum.
My problem is that you're trying to simultaneously play them off as kind of like street thugs to a degree. But at the same time, you want us to cheer them, and at the same time, you want to reference their NCAA athletic accomplishments. And it's like, all three of these things cannot be simultaneously true.
Yeah. I mean, if they were to tell me that these two young gentlemen came from a hard background and succeeded against all odds to go on to college and success, and now that they've decided that they're successful, they've decided that they're going to be pro wrestlers and succeed there as well, I'd probably be on board. But Jesus fucking Christ, you screwed every pooch for 15 miles on this one. I don't give a shit if these preppy little snotheads lost their necklaces.
Well, that's kind of my point. Is like the guys who I've met I've met a couple who came from the hard knock life, the street drugs, and they succeeded in spite of it. They went on, they got their college diploma, they got their scholarship. They're not the guys wearing fake gold chains
who are
going to cry when you take them.
And to be honest, I thought
if anything, that's a reminder of much worse times.
Yeah. You're gonna buy yourself a nice watch and move on.
Yeah. That's my experience. Obviously, it's going to differ from viewer to viewer, but that is the disconnect for me.
Yeah, so the Street Awkwards are basically saying, they stole our necklaces, and that's disrespectful. And we won't tolerate that sort of shenanigans. And nobody fucking cares. Jesus. The Nazis Don't Kneel are going to kick you right in the head. And that's going to be the end of that. Because you're essentially jobbers to the stars. You only get on TV. It's
every tag team right now.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, this particular tag team only gets on TV once every 5 months to have a match.
Better than that, but if they got on TV once in the month, it's a good month. We're eating well this month.
Yeah. I have a thing that just says skipped, which means it was a Blunky Blair Plumlow something.
It was okay, and that's all I'm giving it.
Jesus. I'm seriously, scrape the rhino liner off your face. And then we had the match against the great, legendary Humberto Carrillo.
That was fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows who this guy. He's a scrawny Mexican dude named Humberto Carrillo, and the guys on commentary like Humberto Carrillo is coming down to the ring, and he's gonna have himself a match against this fella over here. And so this awesome music plays, and this guy Blake Cutler Riker comes down to the ring. Only his name's Jackson Riker. So that was poorly explained. Because when Blake Cutler Riker shows up on the Titantron, that's the guy's name. Only his name.
That's all the Forgotten Sons.
It is, but it took me 3 minutes to figure that out. And it's not because I was drinking. It's because that's how people are announced.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio. Yeah. John Cena. The Undertaker. Fucking Charlotte Flair. Anybody. Their name goes up on the Titantron. So I thought that somebody in the truck had fucked up huge, because I don't know who
it's a case where they put together a package for a faction that does not work for them individually.
Correct. So I was very confused because Blake Cutler Riker is not anybody I've ever heard of before. And Jackson Riker is the nameplate I see in front of the guy. So I'm going to it's Jaxson. So if you spelled that wrong, morons.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Either leave the S out.
They've handled the signing of Gunner, for those who watched Impact Wrestling and are aware that Jackson Riker is Gunner, incredibly poorly because he's been off TV for a long time. 1. 2.
Strike while the iron is fucking ice cold from the freezer.
2. He's ice cold as fuck right now because his Impact days are done. And have been done for years. Yeah. 3, you've repackaged him with a new name and everything, but still want to use his veteran status.
Yep.
4, why did this guy need time and seasoning? He'd been, and we had this conversation, frankly, as to why Samoa Joe or Bobby Roode even went to NXT. This idea that we signed an Impact Wrestling guy. Impact's production values are formed by people who worked in WWE. Jim Cornette, for example. So the idea that they really have anything to learn in NXT, or at least long-term to learn in NXT, is absolutely laughable. And it's the same thing with Eric Young, EY,
Yeah.
All of these guys, frankly, should have bypassed NXT, or maybe give them 1 month, 2 months, just to kind of, reignite a little bit of hype around them with the hardcores, and then bam, onto the main roster you go. The idea that Gunner A has to go to NXT, B has to stay in NXT for so long without being used, and then now is getting his debut, and you're trying to make him Gunner without him being Gunner.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb. And you took away his torture rack bomb.
Possibly also true.
Anyways, squash match.
Yeah, squash match for Blake Cutler Riker himself. And then we cut to the office again, and Candice LeRae is innocent of this crime.
But Gargano may not be.
Well, and I actually had a thought before this episode started. What if they're trying to pin the whole thing on Candice? What if Candice is really behind the whole shenanigans? A, that'll give her a big push as a badass. B, it keeps her from any kind of turning to the dark side that Johnny isn't doing. So, because Johnny's turning to the dark side, and maybe she's kind of let's try and...
a turn to the dark side that doesn't involve her fucking Ciampa would be...
That would be
preferable.
Ideal. That would be ideal as fuck.
Oh, don't worry. The fucking of Ciampa, it's coming. It's coming.
I don't need any of that.
I don't either.
Which is why they're gonna do it. Oh yeah, baby!
Take a ride on Champa Mountain.
Jeebus Creepus. And then we had our main event of the evening with fuck finish that we predicted 6 weeks ago.
I'm okay with the fuck finish as long as you can follow it up with something good. And we got a really, really good match out of it. But I kind of have a problem with this whole thing is that you booked yourself into a corner. We covered it. Neither of these guys could win. So you had to have a fuck finish.
Mm-hmm.
When really what you could have done was just, hype up the UK show by having Pete Dunne go out there and style and profile on someone. Or have an instant classic with someone. Take your pick. And it just, it could have been anyone other than Ricochet.
Pretty much.
Could have been EC3. Could have been Gargano. Could have been Kyle O'Reilly. And really any of the era, frankly.
Literally anybody off the roster that you don't use at any point.
Yeah. Anyways,
so yeah, the match itself was really good. I popped huge for the Poison Rana.
He did. He did.
The match is really good, but you knew weeks in advance that this was going to be a fuck finish because they kept interviewing the fucking Undisputed Error and Undisputed Eeyore. Oh. It was just like if you're going to use crumbs, try not to use whole pieces of bread for fuck's sake.
All right, we move on to Lucha Underground. We open up with Mr. Phoenix, the Zombie, versus Aerostar.
Zombie Phoenix.
Very, very concerned Melissa Santos on announcing duty for this particular match. This is one of the better zombie gimmicks, or, changed after dead gimmicks that we've had, because, the match quality is still absolutely there. He had a fantastic job here with Aerostar. Probably Aerostar's best match.
I would say.
Great stuff. Minor gripe of him kicking out of a foot pile driver and spike DDT, but this is Lucha Underground. You get away with these kind of things because, basically dark magics and such.
I've decided that I'm going to refer to DDTs as spike arm pile drivers.
I'm down with this. Phoenix won with a hell of an interesting. They called it the Black Fire driver.
After a while,
you were right that probably should have been saved for a future time period.
That should have been not next episode because they won't have him on the next episode. But the one after that, we have now been told that this is what he's calling this move. Yeah. You shouldn't just psychically pull it out of his fucking cerebellum. Jesus goddamn Christ! But
it's basically like put you up in a muscle buster position and then do kind of a package pile driver to a degree. Yeah. With the 180 twist, it's pretty fucking cool. It's a really good.
It's essentially a muscle buster into a Michinoku driver.
Yeah. That'd be about accurate. So the storyline continuation here is that after the match, he starts beating the fuck out of Aerostar, and Melissa Santos is begging with him, pleading with him to not do it. And it seems to be working a little bit. There's like a confliction thing going in there, but then he starts getting aggressive, starts going towards Melissa. Dragon Azteca Jr. comes out, tries to stop the whole thing, and he gets fucked up with a Black Fire driver on the outside.
Correct.
So he's down. Medics are out there checking on him. Antonio's coming out here like, I was starting to become a believer in you. I thought you might be able to do it. But if you are unable to continue tonight, you will have to forfeit the title, and it will go to Marty the Moth Martinez.
See.
Which Melissa's selling of this was great. Great! The Moth! Him again!
Shit.
But Dragon Aztec is like, no. I will defend this title. So, Marty comes out. We have a match that I'm very mixed on. On one hand, more serious Marty and Azteca can do some good things. But it was just weird. Azteca's selling was very weird.
His selling is always weird.
And disjointed with the commentary. Because you got Stryker going on about, like, okay, how is he going to adapt his offense and do some different things, having been, crushed and favoring his lower back and stuff. And doing, like, dives to the outside and Hurricane Ranas to the outside and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, that's just bad? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're going to do an injury angle... Do an injury angle.
That's the thing with luchadors is all of them only have one moveset, apparently. So if you can't, if you're injured, you have to keep doing exactly the same thing? Question mark.
We had Marty the Moth going for the mask, which will have Pentagon's mask getting ripped up later. So get ready for more of that.
This came up as we were watching it. It's like once a season somebody can go after a mask. I don't give a shit if everybody tears up everybody's mask on every episode. It has zero impact.
Also, the weird thing about Pentagon's mask getting slightly ahead of ourselves, I guess. What the hell is Mill going after the mask for?
I don't know. Well, okay, so
no sense with his character.
How many times has Pentagon's mask been absolutely fucked the fuck up? And Phoenix's, for that matter.
Oh, repetitively.
Like, eight times a season or some shit?
Yeah.
It's called Tranquilo!
Well, it's also like, okay, there are certain people going for the mask makes sense. Why is Mill going after the mask?
Being a guy who also has a mask.
Yeah, he's a guy who also has a mask. He's an undead, angry guy. Like, he should be going for the title. Like, that's the thing. Like, we don't need the mask here. This match is already for the title.
Yep.
You could do, like, a mask title thing later on if you really want to, I guess. But
mask versus penis.
Whoa, I think Katrina's got that still.
That's possible.
Of both men. Hey-o. Anyways, Marty wins in the title with a Kobayashi DDT. Nice work. Fantastic. Marty's got the belt. I like that. And then we go into Drugland. This is really all I've got to explain with this, which is Paul London and Killer Cross, aka the White Rabbit, having a discussion of sort. And this was great, but fuck, is it drug induced?
I enjoyed it immensely.
I also like the fact that apparently Killer Cross's partner is El Bunny.
See.
So, in the end,
not to be confused with Los Bunny.
Yeah, in the end, he tells Paul London to show him to the temple. So, Killer Cross is coming to the temple finally. Thank you. This storyline might actually be going somewhere. It's been very weird.
Actually, you know what? I don't doubt it. I'm being very skeptical because WWE is fucking trash. But at some point, like, how many episodes are in the 4th fucking season? Do we know?
I don't think we know specifically.
Let's see. Lucha Underground, it's a show. I'm on the Wikipedia page right now.
I will continue to talk while you look that up.
I'm gonna mumble while you talk just to drown you out and be a total asshole.
Well, you're gonna be. Hey, I control your volume.
I mean, yeah, but you're not gonna edit it.
But I could press the mute button.
22.
All right.
We are on episode 16 of. Oh no, it's 15 of 22.
Not that many more episodes to really wrap it all up on.
I have a preview for the next episode, which I will reveal at the end of our podcast.
Roger. All right. Then we headed on to the title match. Pentagon defending against King Cuerno and Mil Muertes. This was standard 3-way stuff. It was perfectly acceptable. There were some good spots. There was some good fun. In the end, Pentagon, package pile drivers, Cuerno for the victory.
See.
My only gripe about this match was really Mill going after the mask when it didn't really fit anything. But whatever.
Yeah, had no real reason or business doing that.
Marty the Moth comes out and attacks Pentagon, beats him up a little bit. Antonio Cueto comes out to basically say, my son Dario, he required a 1-week advance notice to cash in the gift of the gods. But Marty made a very compelling argument that this was a stupid rule, which means he paid me.
I would like to state for the record that would make Dario Cueto a much better promoter to drive the hype.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely one of the cases where your son is the better promoter. Anyways, we get a match. Pentagon kicks out of the early stuff. Gets his mask tied to the ring rope, which it's
been done,
but it's okay. Marty gets tossed to the outside, and hello, hot chick comes in to kick Pentagon in the nuts.
Super hot chick.
Pile drivers Pentagon to help Marty get the win with a package pile driver. Sell your own move, son. The hot chick is Chelsea Green, aka Laurel Van Ness. I like this, but I feel it's a waste of her just because you could have done the exact same thing with cheerleader Melissa, coming out as Mary Posa to help out with this, and there's really no change. And you could have used Chelsea Green for something else.
From a sexual angle, I think you're wrong. Although at this point, you know what? At this point in Lucha Underground's history, I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, there's, Marty's got a woman now, sort of thing, like that.
Well,
that's interesting.
It's character development.
I just feel like you made a pretty large signing here, and just there could have been a way to make a storyline about her as opposed to what will undoubtedly be about Marty and her being in his corner, and then Mariposa becomes somewhat surplus at that point as well. So
I think and here I'm going to project into the future and fantasy writing warfare come to life. This is something Mariposa didn't have scouted. This is something she's now angry about and somewhat jealous of, based on some weird freaky shit. And by the end of the season, Mariposa has reinterdicted herself into control of Marshall the Moth Martinez's life, and easily writing Laurel Van Ness off the screen. Also, she's super hot in this episode. You need to watch this.
She is super hot. That's just why I would have done something else with her.
She is super skanky hot in a black leather.
This could absolutely turn into something very good, and I'm open to that idea. I just think that on paper, right now, there are better ways to make use of this asset.
Well, yeah.
I do mean asset in multiple ways.
I think if they knew that they could lock her up for a long-term contract, this would have been done a different way.
Yeah, that could be a case of they don't have her for very long. Probably WWE bound.
Yeah. Can confirm she signed a contract like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I suppose I was kind of ignoring the whole short-term portion of this. So fair enough.
Yeah.
That was Lucha Underground for the week.
Indeed. I'm actually looking forward to that particular storyline quite a bit because it's Marty the Motherfucking Martinez.
Oh, we're looking forward to everything in terms of Marty. Let's be honest.
He's been largely wasted in this season. Again, I think we had this discussion. We don't know if he was legit injured or what the fuck.
They had him get his arm broke by Pentagon in the Battle Royale Aztec Warfare. That usually means someone has an injury.
Yeah.
So, probably... And he was doing very limited stuff in that match as well. So, I think this is a case where he had some kind of legitimate issue. Maybe something with a knee or whatever. That required him to be off TV. I'm
willing to let it slide for now.
And keep in mind, since they're filming these in quick succession, that, a minor injury can require you to be almost out for the entire season.
Yeah, that's true. The preview for next week's episode is Evilise and Exolicious find a new partner to help them face the reptile tribe. Jake Strong takes on Drago and Aerostar in a nunchuck match.
Return to the nunchuck match.
Yeah, number one contender for Lucha Underground Championship is determined.
That's all cool, though. Does that imply that it's not going to be Joey Ryan as the third partner?
No. Well, since they, Evil East and Ex-Lucius find a new partner to help them face the Reptile Tribe, to me, it kind of implies that that's not the guy that they've already finalized as their partner.
Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. I hope Joey Ryan has not been injured.
Correct. Well, I mean, he was technically dead for a while.
Yes, but not very long. His hot ass wife found him, and his dick could not stay dead.
The res erection was complete.
The res erection.
Number one contender, Johnny Mundo. Yes or no?
I think Mundo goes into a feud with Matanza, so I'm gonna go with no.
Fair enough.
I feel like you could have it be Pentagon and go get a proper match between Marty and Pentagon. I feel like you could do Cage. I feel like you could do Mil Muertes or Cuerno. They just had a title shot, and Marty kind of jumped them in line, so to speak.
But what if it's Famous B?
I could be Famous B.
4-2-3, get fame.
Get fame, baby. Or of course, I mean, you never have to look very far to find the man with the book, Chavo Guerrero, number one contender. So that's what we got for this week. Tune in next week where we will be doing more of the same. Although hopefully shorter, because this is one of our longer episodes.
Well, that's their fault, really.